Hello, today we're going to talk about the Arisaka training rifle. The gun that gives the combat rifle a bad reputation, but truthfully, it's people's ignorance is what made them a bad reputation. Because these are actually, if you know what you're doing, these are actually quite nice. And yes, you can actually shoot these. Not with live ammo, of course. But we're going to do a disassembly, like a bolt disassembly. We're going to talk about it. So stay tuned. Alright, this is the Shiwahiki type, which translates to peace. It's a Type 38 design. Also have the hat with the same marking. It came from a military academy. Alright, so let's take this bolt out. Same thing, just like your typical 38 Mauser. The dust cover comes off. And here's your bolt. No locking lugs, typical for a trainer. They do serialize these. This is all an all matching bolt. And if you're wondering why it's not a crack. This is, I'm assuming, just for in case of pressure, even though they weren't shooting hot loads in these. I'm assuming this was for just a safety feature for pressure. Now let's take the bolt apart, and of course, yeah, forgot to mention it's got the tang on it, not the knurl. It's got the tang. So same thing, just like a typical Arisaka. Push and rotate, and here's your firing pin. Now you can't put this one in a real combat rifle because this firing pin is a little bit wider, bigger, and it won't fit into your bolt. So when you see people that are like, "Don't put this in a combat rifle, and that's for a training rifle," well, first of all, it's not going to fit. You know, a lot of people are really dumb and just assume they know when they don't know what they're talking about, because it will not fit in your regular Arisaka bolt. And there's your spring. Pretty much the same as a regular Arisaka, just slightly different. What's interesting though, most trainers that I've seen don't have a pressure, like a gas hole release, and this one does. Kind of interesting, but this is an early one. I mean, this one anywhere from 1920s, around in there. It was definitely before World War II. And same thing to put back on. Well, I gotta line that up, that notch. There, it's ready to go again. Now, it's same feature like the Type 38. You know, your magazine spits out. And you can actually put this in a regular combat Arisaka, it'll work. See? Good as new. Now, here's the tricky part, putting the dust cover back on. Now it's ready. Now I'm going to do something that most of you all were forbidden, but we're going to do it. Alrighty, we're going to put a live round in it. Here's your 6.5 jab. That's a live round. Now, here's the question. Can you chamber a live round? Yes. Now, we're going to pull the trigger and see what happens. Here we go. It's got a heavy trigger. Hey, it didn't blow up. Why is that? Well, it's because, look, there's no primer in it. Yeah, I purposely took the primer and powder out to demonstrate this. Now, I'm going to show you in this box over here. And get rid of that's the Japanese flag. Reproduction, not original. This is what your training rifle shoots. Blanks. And these are loud, just as loud as a live round. And it's not going to blow up your gun, as most people are afraid. Now, if you have one of these that are real rusty and cruddy, it's got cracks, or really, yeah, you don't want to shoot blanks out of it. But yeah, it takes a stripper clip that feeds the same way as, I think I got it in crooked, there we go. And you just thumb them in. And it works the same way like a real one. See, it's loaded, it's ready to fire. And of course, I'm not going to fire it in here because it'd be really, really loud and I'll probably go deaf. But yes, so let's do a quick release. And put it back in here. Oh, I got it in, no, okay, I thought I had it in backwards. Or I do. I'm an idiot. See? And this is a cock on close too, just like your typical Mauser. But nothing, just still interesting though. And here's another interesting part. See, everybody, from things that I read, people don't know what they're talking about. Like, they say, oh, training rifles don't have cleaning rods, they're just a tack nail, or blah, 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 or it's fake, or it's hammered in. Well, here, let's push this release button. You see this? This is a button here to release it. Uh-oh, what's that? Look. Yeah, looks like an actual cleaning rod, doesn't it? It's because it is. So, that's been proven to be a lie when people say that training rifles didn't have full-size cleaning rods. So now people can shut up about that. See, it clicks back in too. Now, yes, this is a smoothbore. There's no rifling in this barrel. And when people talk about, oh, only training rifles don't have protected sights, well, your early models of a Type 38 also were identical to this. They didn't start doing the protective ears until World War II. So here's another fact that people need to get right and stop lying on YouTube about false information. And it does have a short tang. It's got a brass screw in there. It's kind of interesting. Solid stock. It's even got the stock, or you know, same matching number on the receiver as it is on the bolt and everything else. And your butt plate. Now, it's pretty nice. But you just got to remember that, you know, for some of you Arisaka shooters out there that want an Arisaka to shoot live ammo, maybe you want to reconsider. Maybe you need a training rifle to train to properly use an Arisaka before shooting the real deal, and talking about facts that you don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of misled information on these. These training rifles are actually really nice, and now that people are starting to become more aware that a lot of false information, people are buying these now. These are nice, and a lot of these now are going more than an actual combat rifle. And why is that? Because these are actually a little more rare than your typical combat rifle, especially this one. I have only seen 2 other Hiwashiki type training rifles, and I even got the hat. This didn't come together. I bought this separate, but I wasn't looking for a Hiwashiki military academy hat. This, I just wanted a hat because I thought it was neat. I bought that years ago. I just thought it was interesting that it's got the same marking as it does on here on the receiver, same symbol, or kanji, or, you know, forgive me. But yeah, this is nice. And what I've seen, the other ones going, oh, I got this for a very good deal. But I've seen this on, what was it called, Gun Nationalist or whatever, it was a website. They were wanting $850 for this particular training rifle. And you might think, whoa, I would never pay that. Well, maybe a serious Arisaka collector that likes to have combat rifles plus training rifles like myself, maybe they will. But of course I wouldn't. That's outrageous. And then I came across another one of these on I think it was Gunbroker. I might be wrong. And they were trying to get $725 for it. And yeah, you want to know what I paid for this? $132. Plus, it came with a bayonet, and not a training bayonet. It was an actual combat bayonet, which they go for 170 bucks around there very easily, and it's in good condition. Because this one has a story to it. This one was a veteran brought back. The guy, the reason why it's in so good condition, because he kept it for here until recently. And this one was captured on Okinawa. Now here's the thing. Here's the interesting part. Why would this be on Okinawa? You would think this would be in a training facility. Well, everyone assumes that these shoot wooden bullet blanks. Well, yeah, but they had different training ammunition besides wooden blanks. They had one here. Let me get you here. Here's your normal live ammunition 6.5 jab. Okay, what they did, they got rid of it didn't shoot a bullet, it had a ball. A lead ball that fit down in here, and I'm sure it was PUD loaded too, but you could still kill somebody with that, and they were effective. I don't know exactly, because there's not a whole lot of information on it, but I would say they were probably effective to about, a couple hundred yards, maybe 300 max. Still not nothing like, this would do. But still, I guarantee they gave, maybe some civilians were armed with these. The ones that were forced to fight for the Japanese. Maybe they had some that had the lead balls in them and they were shooting or whatever it took. Because I also came across a story where a veteran brought back a Type 96 training machine gun that he witnessed himself that they were firing at the soldiers with that training gun. So there is some misled information. These did fire ammunition, just not your typical live rounds. But as of nowadays, that ammo does not exist. I have another video about this. I got a picture of of what these training rifles actually shot, and the name of the video was Japanese training weapons. You ought to give that a look. But nowadays, as a modern shooter, or if you're just something to plank around, that's the only thing you can shoot is a blank. Now this is really, 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 really hard to get. They only make it for so long, and then then you have to wait for nearly a year before they stock up and start selling it again. So, but I came across a way to get around that. You can fire the short blanks, that is. They have a 6.5 by 55 Swedish blanks, but it's the short ones. So you can fire those in here with no issue. I don't know about the wooden bullet ones that they have, because they're a little bit longer. It might not fit, but the short ones will, and you can shoot them. So if you're having trouble getting the blanks, just remember that 6.5 by 55 short blank will work in this. And here's the thing too, I've seen on some places where I've seen training rifles sporterized with a rifled barrel where they made it where you can shoot live ammunition. But here's the thing, for people that want to say this is pot metal, I mean, it's not as weak as people, but you got to understand too, there was several different variations. They had school rifles, like high school for kids. Then they had youth rifles that were way much smaller than this, but the high school rifles look similar to this. A lot of them, yeah, they were made of poorer material. So there's a lot of false information what people say about these. That, oh, okay, here's I don't know if the camera's showing, but oh yeah, you can wiggle this. Well, mine doesn't wiggle. There's no pitting, or it doesn't look rough. It's well made. I can drop this, it ain't going to break. But here's the thing, I'm going too far. It's not the receiver that you got to worry about blowing up if you're shooting a live round. It's not that. This is not going to blow up. when your bullet is in here, it's chambered right here. This is your chamber. This is what you got to worry about. Well, a lot of the ones that you see sporterized training rifles, somehow maybe, I'm sure the threads are different on here than it is on an actual Arisaka. But they probably did, I don't know, rethreaded, did something themselves and did that. And as long as that, you're safe. But why would you want to do that? I want these to be original for me anyways. I would never buy a sporterized training rifle or even a combat rifle. I wouldn't do it. To me, you can throw them in the garbage because they're junk once you sporterize them. No value at all. I want these to be original and complete. But anyways, I'm talking too much. Just thought I'd give you a little intel on a training rifle. And one more thing I forgot to mention. I was getting ready to wrap the video up and I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about the bayonet. Alright. Well, show you the scabbard. Well, this one here, notice there's no marking on it. Well, this one's a training bayonet. It's only got a little, 43 number on the wood. Carved in it. It's not branded. But, alright, now we're going to get the combat bayonet and compare the two. Pretty much the same type of scabbard, a little more thicker, tougher than the other one. Now here you should be able to see the marking. Yeah, gorgeous. And I don't know if the serial number is going to pick up on this. My lighting is terrible, but yeah, it ain't going to work. I'm sorry. But okay, let's compare the two. Yes, now the training bayonet is not made exactly of the same quality, but I'm sorry to say this is not weak. The training bayonet is not weak at all. You could still stab somebody. You could sharpen this if you want and cut somebody's head off if you choose to do so. This will still stand up to quite a bit of abuse before it would break. Now here's the thickness. You can tell on the top one's the real deal. The top one you can tell it's a little bit thicker. But this is not junk. The training bayonet is not junk whatsoever. Now this one is not sharpened. There's no blade. Now this one, if I rub my hand on it, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. It's sharp. Now the training bayonet, yes, some think that it's only for a training rifle. You can put the training bayonet on your combat rifle. And me, honestly, I prefer the training bayonet over the real one. And reason why is because training bayonet, if you're wanting to go out to, say, a gun range where there's other people and you want to show what you got, or people who like to have the same interests, you don't have to worry about having a bayonet on your rifle and worry about injuring somebody or even yourself. I mean, you could still stab somebody with this, but since it's not razor sharp, but you could sharpen it if you would choose to do so. But I like the training bayonet. I actually, if I'm going to put a bayonet on any of my rifles, it's going to be this one. This is the only training bayonet I have. The other four that I have are the real deal. And honestly, I do not like putting them on my guns. Now, for other people, where I've read on forums, well, you can't put a combat bayonet on a trainer, or you can't put a training bayonet on a combat. Well, yes, you can. They're exactly the same. Are people that were dumb? They're the same. Just one is sharp and one isn't. And I'm going to prove it to you, because here's the marking. We're going to put it on this training rifle, so people will shut up. See, it's on there. Now let's put the trainer one on. There it is. Alright, now that's been proven. So yeah, that's the end of this video. So yeah, it's pretty funny that a transgender person is a little more knowledgeable about these things than some of your typical gun guys that think they know every little thing. these are nice to have. And if you're a collector and not really a big shooter, but you like to go bang every now and then, pick one of these up and find you a blank, or like I said, if you can't find your 6.5 Japanese blank, get the 6.5 by 55 Swedish short blank, and you can fire this. It'll be loud though, a little bit louder than this, but still. And pow, if you're just wanting to plank around. Just remember, no live ammunition whatsoever in this. Not only you could possibly injure yourself, but you'd destroy a wonderful piece of history. You know, I'm grateful I have this. I like this. I like this just as much as my combat rifles. I will respect this just as much as my combat rifles, my katanas, all of that. So, if you're interested in one of these, I suggest buying them up now, because next 10, 20 years, you ain't gonna find them. And then if you do, you're gonna pay out the ass for them. So, good day. Well, if I can turn my camera off.